What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. As always, I'm Jake Varco, and with me today, I've got my good friend Clarky. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Crazy game once again in Leaflands. Not been an easy road thus far as of late for all the Leaf fans out there, but came out with the win tonight, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, definitely not the best times for the Toronto Maple Leafs as of late. Ever since that roller coaster of a game, the last time you were on here, the Detroit Red Wings Toronto Maple Leafs 7-3 or 7-10 game rather. Uh, the Maple Leafs have really seemed to have a decline in their performance as of late. And I know it's a long 82 game season. You're going to have
Yeah.
these stretches of games. You're going to have some off games, but I'd say that this is concerning, considering they had one good game after that. They beat the Washington Capitals. But then, really, that game against the Buffalo Sabres, I was at that game, and that was pure domination by the Buffalo Sabres. That's not something that you want to be accustomed to. And then the next game, they lose to the Vancouver Canucks. Tonight, they almost lost after leading 3-0.
Yeah, almost, never counts on only in horseshoes and hand grenades, but it almost came true tonight. I mean, it was a very close game, and I know we got a lot of stats to get into tonight, but Columbus outscored the Leafs 4-2 in the second and third period. So you could argue for parts of the game that Columbus was the better team. And we've seen that with this Toronto team of late, where they start really well or they have one or two really good periods, but then they just collapse in the other two or other period. And it's just been another case of that tonight where it was a rough game in the second and third period. And there's a lot of question marks on the team tonight, but love to see all the comments coming in here tonight. Let's have a great show and smash that like button if you haven't already.
Yeah, thank you, Clarky. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and you know, as they say, a win is a win. But I'm not a big believer in that, and maybe that's just me being pessimistic. But I'm not a big believer in a win is a win because some wins carry more value than others. And tonight's win, it was looking really solid through the first 20 minutes or so. But then the Columbus Blue Jackets erased a 3-goal deficit in a span of 20 minutes and 43 seconds. Uh, I don't think that this was a great win for the Toronto Maple Leafs at all. I want to see them play a complete 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good comment there. They erased a 3 goal lead in 20 minutes, and that shows you that this team right now doesn't matter what lead they have, they can collapse. It seems like sometimes they have leads and they're built like a house of cards, one big blow, and they just all fall down. And that's what's been happening lately with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, you said it best that you recapped the game you went to against Buffalo, where they were just purely dominated. Again, the game against Vancouver, where just was disappointing. And even when we did our last post game together in Detroit, it's just been a roller coaster lately with the Leafs. And tonight was no different in terms of pure ups and downs for this team.
Pure ups and downs, but from the there are some ups that we can talk about. We're going to discuss them, and they're involving the three stars of this game because they're all from the top Maple Leafs top line. They've been a dominant unit, one of the best lines, if not the best line in the National Hockey League at the moment. Tonight's third star of the game, you have Mitch Marner, a goal and an assist. Look good on the penalty kill as well. Mitch Marner doing his classic stuff.
Yeah, you said it best. Penalty kill, power play. Leafs only had one, I think, one power play tonight, so you didn't see a lot of that. But yeah, he was playing down the stretch too when the Leafs were trying to wrap up the game. So yeah, great player overall as of late, on fire.
And you know what? When Mitch Marner scores goals, good things happen for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh yeah,
The Maple Leafs are now 15-1-0 in games that Mitch Marner scores a goal. He has 22 goals this season. Obviously, he's had a couple 2-goal games there. He's had a hat trick. But when Mitch Marner scores, good things happen. The Maple Leafs want to see Marner continue taking shots, continue cashing in on opportunities.
yeah, it's the Marner effect. Every time he scores, Leafs win usually. So let's keep it up.
So if Mitch Marner can score some goals in the playoffs, maybe that will translate to some team success. Obviously, you need a lot more uh, from the Toronto Maple Leafs as a whole collective
I
unit.
don't know if it's that easy. I don't know if it's
Maybe
that easy, Jake.
maybe that's just the ingredient to the recipe.
Ooh, AC says this is a sidetrack, but he says I love and hate this team so much. It's a good way to put that tonight.
And you know, I think that's a fair assessment for Leafs fans. And really, ever since 1967, it's been a love-hate relationship with this team for so many people. They get your they get your hopes really high, and then they lose games where they shouldn't lose, and that happens to every team. But I'm wondering, is that something that's because of the market that we're in? It's a big market for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Is that why everything seems like it's crashing down to earth when the Maple Leafs lose a bad game like the Buffalo Sabres game the other night, or is this something else?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, we can get into it later, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the Leafs definitely the most talked about team in the NHL. They got a huge market, a lot of media coverage. So obviously, when there are storylines, especially negative ones, negative news often sells, especially in the sports world. So for the Leafs, anytime they collapse like that, we've seen it time and time again. So I mean, yeah, maybe it's their product of their own situation, or maybe it's just teams supposed to be so good and they're not. I don't know, but AC's right.
And he follows it up by saying it's because the Maple Leafs haven't they haven't won a playoff series in 18 years. So,
I didn't want to go there.
but I mean, he's got a valid point there. Obviously, when you have this much losing in one environment, it's going to leave a sour taste in the mouths of the consumers watching the product on ice.
For sure, for sure. It's fans are, they're part of the experience, and when you're a losing fan base, you're a loser fan too. So I mean, I hate to say it, but I think everyone in here that is Leaf fans, we're a bunch of losers. It is what it is, but we lose together and we enjoy the regular season wins sometimes.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there. It's been a tough go of it ever since 1967 for the Maple Leafs, but tonight they emerged victorious, barely. They squeaked away with a 5-4 win. We're going to continue talking about tonight's game. Second star of the game, another player from the top line. Fantastic addition, having an amazing rookie season. His name is Michael Bunting. He had a goal and an assist, the game-winning goal out there tonight.
Yeah, yeah, Bunting's been unreal. I mean, we're talking about it before we went on the show, but both you and I were, saying how surprised we were that Dubas was able to find someone to replace Hyman that quickly. And also, although he's played a different role than Hyman, again, he's just been on fire lately, leading rookies. And yes, he is a rookie even at 26. So to anyone saying that he shouldn't be a rookie, you're wrong. Read the rules. And Bunting's just, he's on fire again tonight. He scores most of his goals in the slot right in front of the net. He did it again tonight. And you could just see the energy with him and Matthews and Marner right now. There's just so much chemistry on that line. And I think that's probably one of the most important things of his addition is, he's kept that chemistry that Hyman had with them. And some could argue maybe even they have more now. So it's been great, and hopefully he can keep his performance up down the stretch because he's a pivotal part of this team.
He is a pivotal part of this team, and he's filled the void of Zach Hyman perfectly. I would say that he's actually exceeded expectations far and beyond. I don't think anyone expected Michael Bunting to have a 20 goal this season, 20 goal year in his rookie campaign, and if you did, congratulations. I guess you're a bit of a you looked into your crystal ball. Good for you, but uh, Michael Bunting, $950,000 per year contract, filling the void of Zach Hyman, doing a great job at doing it. 20 goals this season in his rookie campaign. And you were talking about how some people get upset that he's being talked about as a rookie. Well, he's played 25 games prior to this season, uh, all with the Arizona Coyotes, and he's really getting his first shot at being a legitimate NHLer. He's starting to become more of a household name now that he's performing in a big market like Toronto. So good on him.
Yeah, a few comments in here too. I agree with what you're saying. Japal says Bunting does all the little things that get us playoff style goals, wins little battles, and gets the puck back and drives it to the cage. That's a good comment. I mean, he does do a lot of those. He gets in the dirty areas, and he's a type of player that's not afraid to get in the opponent's face. And we've seen it time and time again where he's gone into scrums every game almost, and he's really getting under the opponent's skin, almost kind of plays like a Marchand role a bit to a lesser degree. So I think that's a really good comment. AC says rare Dubas win on that Bunting signing, and I agree with that. That was a brilliant move by Dubas, and like you said too, pulled a fish out of a hat with that one, with getting Bunting. And then also Jack Trout says Bunting is so focused. So I think those are all great comments, and shows that it's great.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at your fish out of the hat comment. But yeah, I mean, it was really a great signing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're gonna need to have signings like that if you want a team that's so top heavy to succeed, especially in the playoffs. Michael Bunting is showing us that he is a playoff style type of player, and we'll see if that translates into the playoffs. Obviously, we've got a stretch of games to go here down the road, but I mean, what I've really liked what I've seen from Michael Bunting so far this season, and I expect this to continue.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got the first star.
And that is Austin Matthews, none other than the Maple Leaf superstar himself, the 40 goal scorer. He cashed in on a goal, his 40th of the season. And I'm just going to share a tweet here from Varco Sports Twitter account. That is my Twitter account. So give it a
Great,
follow if you'd like.
great Twitter account. Gives you all the latest analysis, in-game tweets, I believe. And he also debates other people on Twitter too sometimes when he doesn't agree with their opinions. So you got to get on that.
That's what it's all about, right? And so here's the stat. Austin Matthews has scored 40 goals in 53 games played this season. The Maple Leafs have played 56 games. He's missed 3 of those, which means he's averaging 0.75 goals per game. This puts a superstar on pace to score 59.6 goals in a 79-game season, which is, again, the maximum he can play this year. A 60-goal season is within reach. I predicted this prior to the start of the season that he would get 60 goals, and I'm sticking with it. I absolutely think a 60-goal season is doable for Austin Matthews.
I have to admit, I don't know if I predicted 60 goals. I don't think I did. I said more closer to 50 or 45. And a couple reasons, but blown away again, blown away again. And I think he's now tied with Daryl Sittler as the only Leaf to have 4 seasons in a row with 40 goals. So again, he's just been doing it time in and time out. And the Rocket Richard Trophy's in his reach this year. So let's hope, as Leaf fans, although we care more about the Leafs, at least speaking for myself, I care about more of the Leafs winning a cup than individual awards. But it would be nice to see Matthews get the Rocket. He deserves it. And he's been having an unreal season. I don't see him slowing down. I don't. I think 60 is in his reach.
And you know what? On top of the Rocket Richard Trophy, I think that Austin Matthews is a candidate for the Hart Trophy right now. He's, if you read, it's most valuable player to your team in the regular season. I think that's Austin Matthews at this present moment. Connor McDavid's great. Leon Draisaitl's great. But I think Austin Matthews, his value to this team in Toronto is more than Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl in Edmonton.
Yeah, you can make that argument for that. I think also you got to put in an account that he's probably playing on the best team or best line in the NHL right now. And his line, they're not carrying the Leafs, but some nights they are. And right now Matthews is he's scoring, he's getting a lot of assists, he's playing a two-way game. So yeah, you can make that argument that for sure he could be one of the most valuable players in this league, and he has been this year.
And you also mentioned that he Austin Matthews has reached 40 goals this campaign. Uh, that's 3 consecutive seasons where he's reached the plateau. He's reached it in 4 of his first 6 NHL seasons, this being his sixth. I think that there's definitely more to come for Austin Matthews, but just he's amazing. He's been doing amazing things, and you're also talking about how you care more about the team success than an individual success. Correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and that's valid. That's expected from a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. But let me just I'm trying to make a comparison here. So, when we were growing up, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they stunk. They had they had a couple alright years. They had Matt Sundin with them, and they didn't ultimately win a Stanley Cup or get to a Stanley Cup Finals.
Win a
They
playoff series.
they did win playoff series, but they didn't have the
Not
team
many.
suc
Second round.
they didn't have the team success that you would have wanted them to have. And Matt Sundin, you can go back and look at his hockey DB, but he didn't really have that many individual accolades. He had a lot of great milestones in Maple Leafs history, but he wasn't a big award winner when it comes to,
Hmm.
Selkies, the
Yeah, yeah.
Rocket Richards, Hart trophies. But with Austin Matthews, the Toronto Maple Leafs actually have one of those players that's in the discussion for these trophies on a yearly basis. And I think as someone watching this team on a nightly basis, that's something that I really value.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I agree to a certain extent that, his individual success and how good he is really puts the Leaf team on another level just because of how good he is, and Marner as well. But I think more just in general as a Leafs fan, although obviously a sports fan in general, when you see individual greatness, whether Matthews is on the Leafs or any other team in the NHL, you have to recognize that he is just on another level, and his skills are generational skills for sure. But as a Leafs fan, I'd get more excited about them winning a playoff series even than him winning Rocket Richard
Definitely.
because it's just what do we get out of him winning Rocket Richard other than saying he's the best goal scorer on the Leafs? You can have the best goal scorer in the league. Look at Ovechkin for years, but the team never did anything. So no, I get what you're saying, but I really care only about not even the Stanley Cup team success at this point for the Leafs because disappointment in the playoffs. I'm not even bought in yet, to be honest. I'm not bought into this team.
And you know what? Neither am I. I'm not. And I'll tell you why. Their blue line isn't great. Their goaltending has been far from great as of late. And this is a discussion that we continuously have on this channel. Uh, the Maple Leafs goaltending needs to be better. Peter Mrazek tonight had 31
Yeah,
saves
there's
on
sorry
31.
to go. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Mrazek tonight had 31 saves on 35 shots, allowed 4 goals. All right performance, but still, the Maple Leafs at the moment right now, they don't have a number one goaltender. They have a 1A and a 1B, and neither of these goaltenders have really emerged as the true number one goalie.
I agree. There's two comments I want to get to related to this. I saw that I think are interesting. I don't know if you'll find this one. It's pretty high up, but Dorky Dave is his name, and he said this team will go as far as the goaltending takes them, plain and simple. What do you think of that? That it comes down to just simple equation where the goaltending's not stellar and you're letting him more goals than on average he should be. Team's gonna lose.
Uh, when it comes to playoff hockey, I definitely agree. You can look back at some of the last Stanley Cup winners or teams to make it to the Stanley Cup finals, and they all have a common denominator, actually. They have solid goaltending that got them there. If you don't have a solid goaltender in the playoffs, you're not going far. And that's just the way it is. I know that the Maple Leafs have hopes that Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek will turn it up a notch come playoff time, but I'm waiting to see that. Looking back at some of the last Stanley Cup champions or teams to make it into the finals, you have Andrei Vasilevsky, best goaltender in the world, in my opinion. You have uh, from St. Louis, Jordan Bennington had a fantastic year.
Yeah,
Uh,
list
Washington
goes
had
on.
Holtby. You can
Holtby
go
was
back.
on fire. Yeah, when they won.
You can go back to Pittsburgh. They had Fleury and Matt Murray. You can
Even,
go.
well, I
Uh,
was gonna say even Vegas with Robin Leonard, they didn't win, but that goalie tandem with Fleury, even then,
yeah,
when they went deep, they're a good goaltending core.
yeah. I really can't recall the last team to win a Stanley Cup with mediocre goaltending.
Yeah, well, that brings me to my next point, and Frank Rusty Nails, he always keeps it spicy with trade offers. Just below Dorky Dave's comment, he says, insider Frank Suravelli, always mess up his name, mentions Marc-Andre Fleury is a definite possibility at deadline for the Leafs. What do you think of that?
Listen, I'm not opposed to it, but again, we'll see.
You love Fleury.
Yeah, Fleury. Growing up, I remember I went to a Buffalo Sabres Pittsburgh Penguins game. It was in Sidney Crosby's rookie year. It was actually the game Sidney Crosby got his first penalty in the NHL. And what stood out to me the most from that game, outside of Crosby's first penalty, was obviously Marc-Andre Fleury's yellow pads. Those were
Iconic.
those were great. So just picturing the blue pads that he'd probably wear with the Maple Leafs would be really cool. But um, again, this is an aging goaltender. He is a great goaltender that I believe could propel a team to the Stanley Cup Finals. Still, he's got what's his cap hit? I believe it's around $7 million. So
I'll check.
with Muzzin on long-term injured reserve, you could get the Chicago Blackhawks to retain up to
7
50.
mil. 7 mil.
Yeah, 7 mil. So you could get the Blackhawks to retain up to 50% of Fleury's cap hit. But is that going to improve your team more than getting another defenseman, another forward, or both? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, again, like it's kind of like we're playing GM mode in a video game. Like when you bring in Fleury, he's a big name, but is it going to work contract wise to begin with, like you said? And then also, is that the number one need the Leafs have? Maybe actually,
It might
maybe
be
it
like
is actually
it actually might be. At the moment, I would
that
say
or
that it
defense.
at the moment I would say it is, but trade deadline isn't usually the best time to acquire a goaltender. Like for a goaltender to get comfortable with a new team is I would argue that it's harder for a goaltender to get comfortable with a new team than it is for a player fitting in on the second or third line.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I would just assume that because goaltending, like, although it's universal, hockey's universal game. Like, there's systems and getting comfortable in the situation. Goalies are, no offense to them, but weirder individuals compared to the rest of the team in terms of their mojo and rituals and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know if you could just plug in a goalie and they're going to stand on their head in Toronto right away. Fleury is a legendary goalie though, so I mean, you never know with a guy like him.
Yeah, he's a legend of the game, and I would not put it past him to get traded and then lead a team to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's just if I'm Kyle Dubas playing the odds here, I'm not sure that that is the move I want to make because again, that's a big cap hit, and with that money that you acquire Marc-Andre Fleury with, you can acquire other things.
Interesting. I mean, I know we don't want to do trade offers the whole show, but AC said something. I don't agree with this actually. I'm sorry, AC. Nylander in a first for Demko.
You know, Thatcher
Uh,
Demko is a great goaltender. I think he's probably a top 3 or 4 goaltender in the National Hockey League right now. But it, is Vancouver going to part ways with Thatcher Demko?
he's 26, pretty young.
Can you tell
I
me
don't
what
know.
Demko's contract is?
5 mil.
Expires when?
Sorry, let me get a better. He makes 5 mil a year. It expires in 2026.
Yeah, so to me that doesn't make sense for the Vancouver Canucks to part ways with Thatcher Demko because finding a goaltender that is elite compared to finding a right winger that's in the elite discussion is something that like it's harder to find that goaltender than it is to find that right winger.
I don't even know Vancouver. They got Holtby, right? But
Holtby's in Dallas.
uh, who's their backup then?
Trying to think
I'll
actually.
look, I'll look at it. Holtby was there last season, right?
Yes. Oh, it's Halak. Yaroslav Halak is the backup goaltender.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't think they'll trade him.
No, it doesn't
No.
make sense. And then there's Chuck Fleet also says, "What about John Gibbons?" And again, I it's someone that I don't see the Anaheim Ducks actually de- trading. Like it doesn't make sense.
Sean Gibbons, yeah. I mean, again, like we saw him, and this was a great thing about not having that Canadian division this year again. We saw him when he played in Toronto, also when they played them in Anaheim. He's a great goalie. He's a great
Yep.
goalie.
Yeah, he is a great goalie. He has a really high level of play. Like I remember watching him in the World Juniors when he led Team USA to defeat Team Canada in the gold medal game, and John Gibson stood on his head the whole time. You knew right then and there that he was going to be a special goaltender in the National Hockey League.
Yeah. Who did he play? Did he play in the OHL?
He played for the Kitchener Rangers in the National Hockey League, and
Oh,
I
really?
remember,
Did you watch him?
yeah, I remember I met him after a game, and he's a tall guy. I'm a pretty tall guy, but I think I'm actually taller than him. But uh, at the time, I looked up to him, and I was like, "Wow, this guy, he's a big guy."
Interesting. Yeah, that's yeah. You got to be big goaltending, but he's very acrobatic and everything. But yeah, I'd love to see the Leafs get him if they could, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's great to have these discussions about, oh, the Maple Leafs should bring this guy in, they should bring this guy in, they should bring this guy in. But uh, I'll gladly answer your questions and your trade requests. But until it happens, it's just speculation. That's all it is.
Yeah, we got a long time too. Deadline's I think the 21st, 22nd, so
It's March 21st. Yep.
long time.
And
Andrew wants to know how tall you are. He's what are you? 6 you're 5'11", 5'8"?
yeah, funny. No, I am 6'4". I think John Gibson stands in at 6'2", but I'm not certain. I'm curious, but I'll check it out after the game, or after the post game show rather. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash the like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time new videos are being released here on Maple Leafs Media.
Smash that like button. Appreciate all the comments. There's a lot of great comments. Keep them coming in. Try to get as many as we can. But yeah, a lot of great comments tonight on Facebook and on YouTube.
Yeah, your comments help make this show a better show. Uh, really generates more discussions and more things to take a deep dive into, just like the trade talks we just had. It's kind of off topic from the game we just watched, but it's something that you can relate to the game we just watched.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's, I mean, some may call us panicking Leaf fans, but I mean, I think everyone in here probably, relatively diehard Leaf fans. We've seen this tape before. Tonight, going back to the game tonight, I was not impressed. I was not impressed tonight.
No, there wasn't much to be impressed by outside of the first 20 minutes of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They let this game slip away from them, and they almost lost it because of a 3-goal deficit being erased in a span of 20 minutes and 43 seconds. That's all too familiar for this organization.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Columbus, I thought they had the game wrapped up early. Columbus came out with just a different type of energy in that second period, and the Leafs didn't match it. And then, like you said, they blew that lead in 20 minutes. Next thing you know, third period, it's tied up. Thankfully, Kerfoot got that goal to pull them ahead. Because if they didn't, I could have saw Columbus winning that game late in that third period, if not again in overtime. Deja vu. So it was just, yeah. I mean, you could blame it on Mrazek for a bit, sure. You could probably blame it on the goaltending a bit. You could probably blame it on the Leafs taking untimely penalties. There was a combination of factors tonight. I think just overall, again, this team does not defend leads right now, and that's the main concern I have.
And you know what? I'm not in the locker room. I can't really make this analysis, but what I will say is, as someone from the outside looking in, uh, for example, the game I was at against the Buffalo Sabres the other night,
Mm.
tonight's game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, there's times where this team just looks disinterested. They look like they're not interested and engaged with the game that's actually going on in front of them. There is no way that the Toronto Maple Leafs team that is loaded on that top line, they have a great second line as well. There's no way that the Maple Leafs should have lost to the Buffalo Sabres 5-1. I know funny things happen in hockey with an 82 game season,
Yeah, that was.
but
Sorry, you
there's
went to that game. You went to the game. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I mean it was not the best environment for that one. I mean, Scotiabank Arena was not none too pleased about that one, but what it just seems
Few
like a
boos.
couple boos, yeah. But it seems like the team just gets disinterested at times.
Yeah, maybe it's because I mean, that I just keep thinking back to that Detroit game when they put up that insane score line. They know they can score. They know they can claw back, and they just get disinterested. What did AC say
They
they
lack
lack the killer instinct they always have? Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, maybe it's that the Leafs just don't kick their opponent while they're down, and they let their opponent come back into the game, slowly inch back, and next thing you know, it's a tie game, and then flip a coin. They might win, they might lose.
Yeah, it's like flipping a coin, right? You never know what side of the Toronto Maple Leafs you're gonna get. Are you gonna get the top, the heads, or are you gonna get the bottom, the tails? But yeah, tomorrow night the Maple Leafs will face off against the Seattle Kraken for the first time in franchise history. Uh, so obviously, gonna be quite a little. There's gonna be some buzz around Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night.
For the Kraken, yeah,
Yeah, for the Kraken, and
new team.
I wanted to point out that the Maple Leafs played against the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, and the Blue Jackets allowed the most shots on goal per game in the National Hockey League. They're 32nd in that category. The Maple Leafs are going up against a Seattle Kraken team who's near the bottom of the NHL standings overall. However, they are solid defensively when it comes to blocking a lot of shots. They have allowed the second least amount of shots on goal per game in
Damn.
the NHL. So that's something to look out for. Watch for a lot of block shots tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up that quickly. I want to see some of the. They might have one of the block leaders on their team.
I'm sure Mark Giordano's up there somewhere.
I'll check that.
But tomorrow night, you have the Seattle Kraken against the Toronto Maple Leafs. First time ever. Clarky, do you want to do a score prediction for that game?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find block leaders, and then I'll give a score prediction here.
Okay. Let me know what you find. So Clarky's just looking up.
Never mind. They don't have an easy access on NHL.com. Forget about it. Come on, NHL.com. You got to make your site better. I wanted
I
to just pull up block shots and sort it, but they don't have it.
well, I'm sure that the Seattle Kraken and Mark Giordano are up there, considering they allow the second least shots on goal per game in the National Hockey League. That's a great stat for a young team, and by young I mean they are literally the youngest franchise in the National Hockey League. They are the newest franchise in the league.
Yeah, the Seattle Kraken. I mean, team that plays with a lot of passion apparently. And I haven't, honestly, being honest, I haven't not watched them a lot this season. I'm not a Kraken fan, but I respect the new team. Seattle seems like a good city to have an NHL organization. I'd personally like to see one up in Quebec again, but that's just my opinion. Gary Bettman doesn't really care for the north of the border, so it is what it is. But um, good to see Kraken in Toronto. They can play a new team, and hopefully it's a good game. And score prediction. Uh, You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Kraken 4. No, Kraken 5, Leafs 3. I think the Kraken win tomorrow night. 5-3.
Okay, and you know what? That's funny. I'm taking the Seattle Kraken to win tomorrow night's game too. And you know what? The Seattle Kraken have not been a fun team for me to place any bets on, because usually when I place a bet on them, they end up losing the game. They're a bit of a thief when it comes to that. But the Seattle Kraken, I'm going to take them to win 3-1. Again, I said they block a lot of shots. Not many shots get past their defense. So I'm going to take the Kraken to win 3-1, and they're going to cash in on an empty netter late in the game.
Interesting. So you got 3-1 for the Kraken. I got 5-3 for the Kraken. I'm banking my prediction. Just I should have added a little bit to that. I'm saying shaky goaltending continues for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jack Campbell's going to start tomorrow night. He's going to struggle. I do think he's going to get it together soon, but I don't think it's going to be tomorrow night. And I think the Leafs are going to go down early, claw back, but Kraken will win 5-3.
Interesting. And some in the comments section, no one agrees with us. Go Leafs Go says
I
6-2
hope
Leafs.
not. I want the Leafs to win.
Dwayne says 5-2 Leafs. Andrew 4-3 Leafs. Chuck Fleet 5-4 Toronto in overtime, and 6-4 Leafs empty net goal. So yeah, I mean I'm gonna take Seattle, and I'm gonna stick with that. I think that the way the Kraken play, it is going to expose some of the weaknesses of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you could say that they play kind of a shutdown game. Like you said, they've let the second least shots in the NHL. Jessica saying 5-1 Leafs. But you could also make the argument that the Leafs could just blow them up because the Kraken are an exceptional team, right? The Leafs could just completely steamroll the Kraken tomorrow night and send them back to Seattle. We don't know, but I'm banking on the fact that as of late, Leafs have lacked consistency. Campbell has not proven anything to the Leafs fan base lately. Not this season, but lately. He's not proven anything. So I can't trust him till he has a good performance. I just can't.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Jack Campbell's been a shell of what we saw early in the season. And on paper, I agree with you. This is a game that the Toronto Maple Leafs should win, and they should run away with. They should send Seattle back home, but I'm not going to bank on that. The way that the Maple Leafs have been performing as of late has been shaky at best, and they're finding ways to come away with a win, but against a team who plays a more of a gritty, grindy type of game, I'm going to take the Kraken in this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few more predictions coming in. Sport Group's got a wild prediction: 9-3 Leafs. But then he sent some crying emojis, so hopefully, maybe he's joking. I wouldn't suggest betting on that score line, but Ryan
I mean,
says 4-2 Leafs.
And Frank Rusty Nail says could be another 10-7 game. Goaltending on both sides has been shaky. You know what, Frank? If you're right and that happens, go buy a lottery ticket. But I don't see that happening. Uh, if it does, again, seriously, buy a lottery ticket if that does happen.
Yeah, I mean, if he predicts that, you never know. I mean, yeah, buy a lottery ticket. But I mean, you never know. I mean, if you've watched the Leafs lately, and we all have, we know that just it's unpredictable. It really is. And you never know because the Leafs can score a lot of goals, but they can let in a lot of goals.
And an interesting comment from ASE saying Cable will let in 4. Will need at least 5 goals to win.
Interesting. Interesting.
I'm gonna pull up Jack Campbell's game log here. I have him on fantasy, and he's allowed
Just lately, he's just
he,
been shaky.
in each of his last 4 starts, he's allowed 4 or more goals. He's allowed 19 goals in his last 4 starts.
Yeah, and I mean, I like again, I'm still supporter of Campbell. Like I'm not gonna just jump ship on him, but we have to call it what it is. He is an all-star this season, but lately he's not played like one.
Not at all.
And until we're proven otherwise, how can you have faith in him right now? I think just got to get his mojo back or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, like you said, 19 goals in 4 games. That was a stat? 19 goals in 4 games. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's not good enough. It's not going to win you very many games. It's really not. And the Fozzie Bear final score prediction of the night saying Leafs will beat Seattle 5-2. So it's interesting. Nobody except for us took Seattle to win tomorrow night. And maybe we'll look silly tomorrow night, but
We might.
we'll see.
I think the one time we both picked the Devils after the Leafs beat the Devils, and then they beat the Devils 7-1 or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was it. That's right.
So predictions are always hard to make, but you never know. It's hockey.
It's
That's why we
hockey.
watch it.
It's hockey. And in hockey, there's a lot of great comparisons, but I'd say that the comparison of the 2016 first and second overall pick in the NHL entry draft, it's not very close. And anytime Patrick Laine and Austin Matthews meet up, these comparisons are going to be brought up. So I sent out a tweet prior to tonight's game, really comparing the careers of the two. And here is the comparison from my Twitter. Let me just share my screen. So
You're
the
comparing Matthews and Laine.
Matthews and Laine. So since being drafted first and second overall, respectively, in the 2016 NHL entry draft, Austin Matthews and Patrick Laine have been linked. Although the comparison is understandable, it's not really close. Matthews has more goals and assists for more points in less games played. So after tonight, you can add another goal and another assist to the side of Austin Matthews. So 387 games played, 239 goals, 184 points, 483 points. Patrick Laine after tonight up to 489 games played, 172 goals, 141 assists, and 313 points. The comparison's really not close. Austin Matthews is a generational talent, while Patrick Laine is a star in the league. He is not a generational talent.
Yeah, I mean this comparison, like you said, is pretty stark between the 1 and 2, and that's the crazy thing about drafts and predicting talent and whatnot. These guys were arguably maybe not neck and neck, but they were in the same conversation entering in the league. And you can see right there from that stat line that Austin Matthews, maybe a once in a generation talent. Laine, he's still a really good player, but just not on his level. He has a nice shot. We saw that tonight, no doubt about it. But hockey IQ, complete game, offensive ability just doesn't compare to Austin Matthews at all.
No, it's really not close. And one more comment before we head out of tonight's show. It's about Jack Campbell. Go Leafs go comments. Campbell's going to heat up at the right time. And if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, that's exactly what you have to be hoping for because you saw the success that the Maple Leafs were having at the in the early stages of the season when Jack Campbell was that all-star goaltender. The Toronto Maple Leafs looked like world beaters. But with Jack Campbell's decline in performance and Peter Mrazek's shaky uh, start to the season, if you want to call it a start to the season, whatever, really, the Maple Leafs have had a steep decline in performance, and it falls on the back of the two goaltenders when it comes down to it. I know their blue line play hasn't been great, it's been far from excellent, but it falls on the most pressure filled position in the sport and potentially all of sports, and that's the goaltender.
Yeah, I have to say I like this comment by Go Leafs Go. Obviously, with the name, there's a lot of optimism here, and I agree. I mean, we still gotta believe in Campbell overall. Lately, it's been very hard to, but again, I said it before. He was an All Star this season for a reason, and he took the starting role from Anderson, who is arguably one of the best goaltenders we've seen in a while. So there's a reason why the Leafs stuck with Campbell. Dubas, who's as much as he's made some mistakes in signing players, he sees talent sometimes, like the Michael Buntings of this world. He saw him, picked him out. He saw Campbell's an undervalued goaltender, and he probably still is, but just gotta give him time. Hopefully, the next few weeks he gets it together.
And that's what the Maple Leafs need to hope for. Uh, he's been really lackluster as of late, but he needs to find a way to build up his confidence, get back to playing at the level he was before. Uh, Tonight, that wraps up our post game show. I'm going to be back here for a pre-game show tomorrow night with a fellow classmate of mine. We're going to be discussing the Seattle Kraken and the Toronto Maple Leafs, giving you some stats and some analysis. Prior to that, that will be live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Game starts at 7:30, so it gives you some time to catch up to it if you missed it live. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll get a notification if you're subscribed. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that notification bell so you get that notification though.
Yeah, smash that like button and post game or pre-game tomorrow and mixing it up. That's going to be interesting. Are you going to remember your score prediction though, or are you going to change it by then? I don't know.
I'll
You kind
remember.
of flip flop a lot, so
I'll
we'll
remember.
see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a great show tomorrow. I will tune in and watch that and smash the like button because I know how much you appreciate it, how much you're working hard and everything. And I'll just wrap it up now for myself. Thanks for having me on tonight. And it's always a great time with everyone commenting, as well as you bringing on the stats, crunching it on Twitter. If you haven't already, follow Barco Sports. He has a lot of great content, and it's not just because I know him. He actually posts a lot of great stuff. So give him a follow. And pre-game tomorrow night. It's weird saying that. It's going to be a great show. So tune in for that too. Go Leafs, go! Let's stay optimistic here. Go Campbell. Let's get a bounce back for him. Go everyone. Let's go. Go Leafs, go! Stay healthy, stay safe. Go Leafs, go, baby.
Thank you, Clarky. Thank you for doing this post game show with me. Been on here for the last 50 minutes. It was an interesting game here tonight between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Columbus Blue Jackets. Again, tomorrow night, I'll be live for a preview of the Seattle Kraken Toronto Maple Leafs game. And Clarky, you mentioned at Varco Sports on Twitter. I just dropped the link to that in the comment section on Facebook and Twitter. So if you haven't already, please check out Varco Sports on Twitter. I am a young sports journalist trying to get into the industry, trying to break into the industry. So all your support on YouTube, it really means the world to me. And if you can carry that over to Twitter, again, thank you. And also check out Maple Leafs Media Facebook page, almost at 5,000 followers. So
What?
almost at 5,000 followers on
Oh,
Facebook. So
damn.
the it's a growing brand, and hop on the train. Thank you for watching tonight's show. As always, I'm Jake Varco.